doesn't feel pity or remorse.
You won't let me live. You won't let me die. The world needs you.
What's going on? This is Eric, also known as Crazy Crab, and today gonna talk really briefly about Bad Boys for Life. I saw it last night. I'm a big fan of the other two movies. I absolutely love both of them. And I love Martin Lawrence, one of my favorite comedians ever, and Will Smith, one of my favorite actors ever. What a team up that was. And I know Michael Bay is not my favorite director, but for the Bad Boys films, it was perfect. He was the guy they needed because he can put crazy, outlandish action in there, but there was also great jokes. He obviously let these guys work and do their thing in those first two movies, and you got great, hilarious, funny, action-packed, fun movies that you can watch over and over for years. Now we had the new one. Clearly, I was worried. It's 2020. Good movies are hard to come by, especially when they're part of a franchise. How many franchise-destroying movies have we been getting lately? One after the other after the other. And these directors and these filmmakers, they don't care about the movies. They come out and just give us trash and expect us to give our money to them anyways. And that's what I expected with this movie, although I still went to see it because I hadn't heard anything terrible about it. The previews, the trailers looked decent. So I said, well, hey, let's check it out. Wow, I was blown away. I was blown away. This is an amazing movie. Fits perfectly into the franchise. Perfectly. These guys don't miss a beat. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith are on point. They act the way you would think they would act 20 years having passed since the previous movies. Same attitudes that each had in the previous movies they kind of have now, except, it's been 20 years later. The comedy is hilarious. The action, it's amazing. New characters are introduced properly. Okay, they're given as much development as you can, reasonably in one movie. And I really did enjoy this movie thoroughly. And I can see myself watching this one over and over. Time will tell, if it's really my favorite of the trilogy. But right now, it sure is. I mean, from a first viewing, this was my favorite first viewing. When I first saw the original Bad Boys, of course, I loved it. I was like, that was hilarious. That was great. But I kind of expected that. So that might be part of it. This one, I didn't expect much. And it was great. So I'm just telling you, if you want something that's action-packed, that's funny, that's absolutely perfectly set within the franchise and doesn't throw you any crazy curveballs, not that there's not any twists and turns, not that there's not a different story, not that there's not some surprises, not that there's not some tragic moments and everything, all that, can happen in a movie. People think that we just want, copy, paste. No, nobody wants copy, paste. Just want you to honor a franchise. Not just go out into left field and just make something completely different. And it seems like you haven't even watched the previous films. It seems like you just did what you wanted. It's not like that. When you have a franchise, you have to follow some certain rules of the franchise. Even if it's not set in a galaxy far, far away, there are still rules. There is still a certain tone you got to set. A certain comedic tone you got to set. It doesn't have to be exact, but, in the ballpark. Come on, don't just throw people out like, what the heck is this? This is nothing close to what I thought I was getting into here. What did you guys do? No, this one, clearly, they honored the franchise. They made a Michael Bay-ish movie. If anything, it's actually a little less outlandish, which I appreciated because that's the one thing that I kind of sometimes didn't like about these movies. Like, come on, that would never happen. It does have some of that, though. It does have some of that craziness here. But if anything, it kind of brought it down a notch. And that's why I really loved it, especially because I'm older, now I'm 40, I'm not 20 anymore. I don't, need to see, just crazy Transformer stuff on screen. I want a good story. I want a strong story. And I don't want stuff that's just so insane. I'm like, stop it. Stop it. In no world would that ever happen. And this one really brought that down a notch, and it also brought the story up a notch. So it's not exactly scene for scene anything like the previous ones. It's a completely different story, but I'm just saying tone-wise and action-wise and comedy-wise and the way these two characters interact, all that is on point. And you even have some other characters from the other films making a return. So this is one I really highly recommend you do check out. I don't have any really gripes about it. I don't have any problems with it. Bad Boys for Life. I gotta give it a 10 out of 10 since for what it is. I don't have any complaints about it. I thought it was right on point. I thought it was great. Right now it's my favorite of the franchise. Go check it out. Bad Boys for Life. You won't regret it. This is Crazy Crab. Hit that subscribe button. Coming to you with more reviews in the future, more rants. I'm gonna try to do as many as I can, and I'll talk to you guys later.